What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the debut episode of Game Changer Weekly. I am Cassidy Haynes, owner of BodySlam.net, and I'm joined with Jameus Mooney. And we are here with a special guest today to kick off our new weekly show covering Game Changer Wrestling news and updates and interviews. And we got an interview to kick it off. The new Loco Wrestling champion, Sam Stackhouse, joining us today. How's it going, man?
That's all right. I'm doing good. How you guys doing? Happy to be here.
Good, brother. Congratulations, champ. That was awesome, man.
I appreciate that. Hey, appreciate it. It's a hard match. I'm still sore, but we've been having this bad boy, so it makes it better.
That's a very fun match. Some of those bumps just look brutal.
Yeah.
That door bump looked really good.
That was my first. Oh yeah, that was a big day for me. So there wasn't nothing I wasn't gonna be willing to do. I'll tell you that.
That's awesome. Let's see. So let's tell everybody, how long have you hit the button? There we go. Hide that comment. People are excited you're in here. So how long you said you've been wrestling like over 10 years, right? Did I hear that right on commentary?
It's since 2009. So I'm 12 now, I guess.
13 almost, man. Going on 13. Man,
October this year will be 13. Yeah.
That's what's up. And so tell us about how you got started. Where did you break in, and what got you started in wrestling exactly?
Well, I mean, I've always loved same old stories. Everybody else, I've loved wrestling since I was a kid. So my brother's the one that got me into wrestling, and then I was like 17 or 18, I think. I was at a party, and I was wearing a wrestling shirt, and this other guy was too. So we started talking, and then he told me that they had like local shows. So I'm from Oklahoma, so he told me they had local shows, and I had no idea that was even a thing. So I started going to shows, and I found out they had a school, and I started training, and that was 2009. So it's been going since then.
So awesome. Your gear at the most recent GCW show was a tribute to Bam Bam Bigelow. Like I sent out a tweet, that was the first thing I noticed with your presentation when you showed up. You were doing a lot of more athletic moves, such as a Bam Bam, but also your original ring name was One Man Sam, based off of One Man Gang. Have you?
I did.
What other big men did you go out of your way to style your entire career off of from the start, or
there's a basically my move set, if you want to call it that, has been just like a hybrid of like Bam Bam Vader, Samoa Joe, Abyss, and One Man Gang. That's if you just combine all those together, that's about me. Like I take all like the athletic stuff that Samoa Joe can do, and I try to do that. And then like obviously got the moonsault from Bam Bam, the heel kick I got from Viscera. So I've taken a lot of stuff from all the bigger dudes, and like that's obviously my style because I've been big my entire life. So those are the guys that I looked up to because I saw them, doing this stuff. So there wasn't any excuse for me not to be able to do it. And that's the way I've always looked at it. So
I know Jay actually mentioned Viscera heel kick connection on commentary. Obviously he called him Mabel, which was Viscera's name before Viscera. Yeah. But that's really cool. How did the Bam Bam gear come together? Like when did that idea start?
It's really something I've wanted to do it for a long time, but there's a guy here locally named Scott Brumley he's designed. He does all kinds of designs for me and everything. And I asked him, like I had an idea one day, and I asked him if he could come up with some like Bam Bam inspired, like not like exactly like it, but enough to where it's pretty clear what I was going for type situation. He came back with that. He designed it in like 10 different colors, so I've got more coming. So that first one wasn't the only one. Oh yeah.
The SS. It's just perfect. Like it ties it in together.
Oh yeah.
Perfectly.
Plus, like I said, it was a way for me to feel like the guys that I've always looked up to. So, because you go back and look at the videos, and there's people online telling that I'm Bam Bam's son or some stuff like that, which obviously not, but it's pretty cool, man.
That's what's up. Now, so you made your GCW debut last year, correct?
Yeah, in July. Yep.
In July.
And you Cardona, correct?
No, it was the three-way before that.
I had a match before that. Yeah, it was a couple months before we were in Vegas. It was a couple months.
Yeah, before it was you and Facade and
Aaron Sykes.
Aaron Sykes. That's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Now let's talk about the Cardona match, man. How did it feel to be going against Cardona in your second match for the GCW title?
Yeah, it was pretty. At that time, I hadn't even like I said, I'm from a small town, Oklahoma. Like 6 months ago, I was wrestling in front of like 25 people in a tiny town that I couldn't even pronounce in Oklahoma. So like to jump immediately from that and then get the opportunity to do the show in Houston, and then like a month later get to do that in Vegas. Like I hadn't even my brain hadn't caught up with the stuff that happened in Texas yet, and I still haven't caught up. And now I've done the Vegas, Hammerstein, all this stuff, and it's been an insane 6 months. But like I said, it was just surreal. Like, that was only I'm a 32-year-old man. That was only the second time I've ever been on an airplane in my life, and the last time was in like 1998 when I was 9 years old, because I wanted to be a pilot. So I wanted to be a pilot. Like we lived close to the airport, so I could name like all the planes that flew by. I could tell you what kind of plane they were, what company they flew for, all stuff about them. And then so he just booked us a flight to fly from Dallas and back in one day. Needless to say, after I got on that, didn't want to be a pilot anymore. But so when I went to Vegas, that was only the second time I'd ever been on an airplane. So there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening, and I'm still not even sure I've processed it. Like, it's just been nuts.
So the triple threat with Sykes, that match was a part of a Loco GCW crossover, like the one with Dante Leon recently.
Mm-hmm. That was the first one. Yeah.
That match obviously got you noticed by GCW. How did that come up to bring you into GCW specifically after that?
Actually, it's kind of the other way around, because that show got me noticed by Loco, because like that show that I did in July, the Loco versus GCW show, it was GCW that reached out to me and said that they'd seen stuff online and wanted me to come down there. And I went down there I had no intention of wrestling. Like, obviously I brought my stuff with me, but I had no intention of wrestling. I was just going down there, meet people, maybe set up the ring, put up some chairs, do whatever they needed me to do. And I ended up getting to wrestle. And then I got booked on Loco, because that was only like in almost 13 years I've been wrestling. That show that I did, that first GCW show, that was the first time I'd ever wrestled in Houston, and only the second time I'd ever wrestled in Texas.
Oh, wow.
And because based on the reaction that I got, like GCW people, they didn't believe that I'd never been there before. But it's crazy. If you go back and watch the match, at the beginning of the match, when I come out, no one really knew anything. But then by the end of the match, they were chanting like, "Please come back" and stuff. And it's just the connection that I've got with the fans the past 6 months. That's the only reason that you guys are talking to me right now. Is just because of that night, something happened where I connected with those people and stuff, and it's just been insane since then.
And that's something I constantly say about that GCW environment. That going to a show, it's just something. It's something that you really have to experience as a fan, especially if you love wrestling. Even if that's not what you think you like in wrestling, you need to go check it out, because you're going to probably find something that you like on the show that you didn't expect that you would like.
Yeah, I said this on the most recent post show that Cass and I personally did, that the great thing about GCW, and I've done 6 GCW shows as a fan, the great thing about GCW is, even if you're not a fan of one style of wrestling, their card is built similarly to an old ECW show, where you may not be a big Sabu fan, but then you get Eddie and Malenko or Tajiri and Super Crazy on the next match. And it's every match is different. The fans are diehard wrestling fans who enjoy and appreciate every style. And obviously that's the perfect place to go learn.
It's fantastic. Like I can't say enough good things about GCW and the fans, because like you said, there's something for everybody. Like, if you're not into deathmatch stuff, then they have, like me, I'm more of like a story based. Like, I'm not going out there. Like, I can do like high flying spots, but if you notice, they're spaced out a little bit. I'm not back flipping, and then I'm not doing everything all like this, because that's not me, number one. So, and then you have those guys that can go out there and they can wrestle 1,000 miles a minute and hit 8,000 moves and just do all this stuff that you don't even think is physically possible. And I personally, I love that kind of wrestling too. But I love all kinds of wrestling,
Me too.
And you were in a match with those guys too, because you did at So Alive. It was Fuego and Deranged and Drago Kid and Gringo and Nick Wayne and you. And that's an interesting combination there too. I was gonna say,
I was doing my best to keep up.
How were you feeling after that one? Because those guys, I was tired watching those guys.
Well, I mean, I messed up my ankle pretty bad in that match, but besides that, I felt pretty good about it. Like, I mean, again, it was another one of the things. That was the first time I'd ever wrestled in Dallas, and again, like the connection with the fans, because I mean, I lost the match, but they still came up and were beating on the rings and chanting Stackhouse and stuff. And it's just insane. Like I said, from a person who's small town, I'm not used to any of these things.
Right.
Like I've been wrestling. Like I've wrestled outside of Oklahoma. Like I've wrestled in like 15 different states or whatever. But I wrestled. I would go all the way to this other state to wrestle in front of 25 people or whatever, just to get out. But now this stuff is a whole nother level. Like we were on real pay-per-view.
I was there. I was getting ready to talk to you about that. I was at that show. I flew from
North
Carolina. Yeah, I live in North Carolina,
awesome.
So I flew from North Carolina up there and
Nice.
hung out with the boys that weekend and watched it. And I was going to ask you, tell me about that feeling, because like you said, you were wrestling in front of 25 people, and then you were there doing a spot in the Cardona match with Hornswoggle and Marco, and I mean just to be involved in that match. Like, let's talk about that. Talk about going to Hammerstein and what that felt like.
It was like I'm still not even sure I've even like registered, because it still doesn't seem real. Like that was almost 3 weeks ago now. It seems like it was like it's just been an insane. Like I know I'm gonna say this 100 times during this thing. It has been an insane 6 months. Okay, like I said, and that was only the third time I've ever been on an airplane in my life, was going to New York City. And obviously I've never been to New York City, which funny story, side story, doesn't ever do with wrestling really, but I was supposed to go. I was in band in high school, and we were supposed to march in the parade in New York City, and I was supposed to go. And like my dad had bought the tickets because he was going to be a chaperone and go and everything anyways. And then I didn't have the best grades and stuff because I didn't keep up with that stuff. So the night before the trip, we were at a football game, and one of the teachers calls to make sure that I was still on the ineligible list because I had been forging my grade sheet. So I got busted the night before. Long story short, my dad still went to New York City, and I never got there. So I finally got to New York City, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, man. What instrument did you play?
Oh, well, I started on trumpet, but then when I got to high school, I started learning to play everything. So I played a little bit of all of it. I think out of 3 electives, I had like depending on what the season was, first period was marching band or concert band. Then I had jazz band and orchestra all throughout the day too. So
you're versatile at everything.
Yeah, well, like I've always said this thing, like if I try something, I want to not suck at it. So
probably the best.
I do my best
try not to suck.
Yeah, that's been my life motto so far. It's worked out all right, I guess.
Well, let's talk about this last weekend, because that was a huge weekend for you. I said we keep seeing the belt there over your shoulder. I'm staring at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Let's talk about that weekend. Now that building, it was cold, right? Everybody seemed to be very, very cold.
It was below freezing. I mean, it was like 28, 29 degrees, something like. I mean, it was like our feet were numb before, like when we went out for the matches, like we were wrestling with numb feet and stuff. It was like but that's another good thing. Like I noticed the first time I was in that building was in the middle of July, so it was the exact opposite because there's about 125 in that building. And I've been putting over the fans like since then, because I was like, it was like that night, it was harder to be a fan than it was to be a wrestler, because at least we got to like bundle up and like come back and like or like when it was the heater, we could go outside, get air and stuff like that. And we only had to be out there for like 10, 15 minutes or whatever. But there was fans out there for 3.5 hours in that heat. And then this past week they were out there in that cold. And I'm not sure that there's any other places where you're going to get a group of people, like a room full of like 300 people, to sit there in the fridge. Like you could see it, everybody could see their breath, because there's footage of the wrestlers, and like during the match you can see their breath. I think
you got to give you Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's breath was coming up. I was like, oh shit, it's cold out there. I was like, damn.
What was great about that as a fan was seeing Grim Reaper when he was doing his spots with the blunt. You could see like the hybrid of the blunt and the breath.
It added to it. It was it added to it a lot. He's great.
He was. I think he was the guy, like him and G Raver and Big Vin were like like the main guys that I was most excited to meet when I got to go to the New York show, because I haven't been on the East Coast yet, so I haven't and a lot of those guys, when GCW comes this way, they don't come with them, so I got to meet him yet. And then I got to meet him down there, and he
Let's see. Did we lose everybody?
I can't hear him.
I can't. Can't hear you, Sam. Can you hear me? We lost Sam's volume.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you, yes.
Can you hear us, Sam? We lost him on volume.
Let's
see. Can't hear you. No, still can't hear you. Let's see.
Until we get him back, we can discuss his match at the Loco GCW show. I mean, I know we already kind of went in detail on that on our post show.
Looks like he froze up now too.
Check out on our YouTube channel.
Looks like we lost. Looks like he's froze up. Oh, yep, he's gone. All right.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be back. So he'll be back. Oh, there he is. He's coming right back.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Hey man, technical difficulties. We're good. I was like, I think we lost. We could still see you, but we couldn't hear you, and then it froze up.
Yeah,
but we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those fans over the weekend, they definitely were some troopers, man, because it looked really cold. And
and plus all the wrestlers too.
Yeah, you guys definitely. But at least you're out there working and staying active and working up. I mean, but yeah, I'm the same way. I'd rather it be cold than hot. So you can always layer up. You can only take so much off to cool down. But
that's one of my lines that I've used for like years. I was like, I'd much rather be cold because like I can cover up, but I can only take off so much clothes before I'm going to jail.
Dude, it's a big guy thing. I'm a big guy too.
Which is kind of ironic, I guess, since like did you see the picture I posted with the belt today?
I did not yet.
The Shawn Michaels picture. Shit. So I guess it's kind of ironic because I was definitely I took all my damn clothes off for that one. So
I have to go find that real quick.
I did see that. Can we put it on the stream or no?
I'm trying to pull it up.
I'm having fun with this thing because we went when we were in Dallas, we went down to the grassy knoll and took pictures with it.
Dude, that's awesome.
So we're just gonna have fun with it because it's a fun. Yeah. I mean, look at this thing. How do you see what this thing looks like? How can you not have fun with it? It's got pot leaves all over the dang thing.
Dude,
like you've gotta have fun. There's even on the leather. The leather has pot leaves on it too. That's insane. So you gotta have fun with it, you know.
Who else has the belt? Who's in the picture with you? Who's in the middle there on that picture? Is that my phone?
That is Joe Alonzo. He did a thing with Dante a couple shows ago where he stole the belt. He never won the belt, but he stole the belt and he took that picture. But I had to put it in there.
Fine, I can add it in there.
So belts like that are what, like, for me, independent wrestling should be.
Yeah, like, and a lot of independent places don't have belts like this. I'll tell you that right now.
A lot of independent wrestling shows try to be so super serious, but it's like something you can have fun with, man.
Yeah. And that's what wrestling is supposed to be. Like, wrestling doesn't have and that's another thing. It's wrestling. That's why I love it so much because it's subjective. Yeah, wrestling can be whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you want it to be. I agree.
Yeah,
but there's something for everybody.
Exactly.
And that's how it should be, and that's the beauty of it's the combination of the sport and the art and the story.
Yes.
And that story, which is brought together by the art, can be whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different ways to use the art to guide the story. It's just the coolest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's why wrestling. Because I mean, think about it. You have a wrestling show that's 3-4 hours long. If it's a Mania, it's 7 hours long. So you've got all these matches, but each match is a little different. So if wrestling wasn't so awesome, then it would all be the same thing. Because like you watch a football game or a basketball game, chances are you've seen most of the things. Everything happens a little bit different way. But at the end of the day, whoever has the most points wins. But wrestling, you can watch 200 matches and every one of them's they might start the same, kind of a little bit, but they're all gonna be different.
Yeah, with pro wrestling, it's like if you watch an old NWA show, Ricky Steamboat would work the arm, so Arn Anderson would go after a different body part, go after the neck, and then you go down the card and you see Ric Flair working the leg, and then you see Nikita Koloff doing the power moves. And I think that's kind of gotten lost in some places today, where you kind of see people work the same body part, the same arm. And it's just like, even though they're doing it differently, I just saw the story. And that's one thing I love about GCW's product that I hit on every show I do about GCW.
And if you like GCW, anybody watching, like I said, Loco is basically just like smaller GCW. Because like I said, like the fans are just as hot for them. A lot of the same people are there. So it's in the same building because there's something about that building. Like I've seen a lot. Like I know a lot of people don't like it, and it's like it is a dirty building, but it is like, and it might not look the best on the TV. Obviously, it's not the Hammerstein, but like Effie was saying at the show last week, he was saying something like only GCW could pull off going from the Hammerstein one week to that building the next week, freezing all our butts off and stuff like that. You know, that's such an indie thing. You know.
I kind of hit on that in the post show of that show.
And Atticus touched on it
I feel like I was harsh on the venue because I'm somebody who loves unique wrestling venues. For me, the grungier the venue, the better for wrestling because I don't like when everything comes across perfect in wrestling because wrestling's not supposed to be pretty. So I like that GCW is very not formulaic with their venues. Like the GCW shows I've done used the Cuban Club in Ybor. I'm from Tampa. I live in Jacksonville, but I'm from Tampa. And Ybor's that Tampa area, which was extremely hot as a fan, but it looked really good on TV last year. I love that they don't have a set venue and they find the most unique venue possible for. Now, it's a little bit of a culture shock if you were checking them out on pay-per-view for the first time.
Yeah. If the first show you saw was Hammerstein, then you turned in the next week, it might have been a little like, did I buy the wrong pay-per-view here? But like I said, that's part of the what I think is helping GCW get out there more. Like the allure of it is because like it's not clean, it's not perfect. You know, like I mean, when if Brett messes up, like he'll get on there and admit to it. You know what I'm saying? Like if anybody messes up at the show, they'll admit to it. Like it's not perfect, it's not clean. It's just what wrestling's supposed to be. It's a group of people that have all been told that like, and that's another good thing about GCW. Like that's why all the shows are great because the whole roster, like everyone has almost the same story. Like we've all been told. Like I've personally been told, obviously I don't look like a wrestler. I'm too fat. I need to lose weight before I shouldn't be doing the moves and stuff I do. You know, Effie, he had like LGBTQ stuff. He's had hard times with that. Like there's everybody on GCW. Alley Cat, she's been crapped on and stuff. Like everybody on that roster has something to prove. We all feel like so that place, like that's why the GCW is so great is because of that. You know, it's because it's just a group of people. Like it's the island for misfit toys. You know.
I love that for GCW too. I was on another one of Body Sam's podcasts earlier this week, and we were discussing the GCW deal with TNT over in the UK, which Cass and I will get to later on in the show. And I made specific mention of Effie and how important his character is because it's the first time in wrestling that a real representation of LGBTQ characters have been on. That's not a parody of it. That is just a real natural character. And
because he's not a joke, you know. He's just a badass that happens to be gay, you know.
Different body types, like, and I think you look like a wrestler, dude. Like when I see you, the first thing my mind goes to is 70s territories.
Yeah,
you look like
I've said that a lot too.
Guy.
I wish I was born like 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago you would have fit right in.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that because I like old school. Like, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like all kinds of wrestling. I like comedy wrestling. I like deathmatch wrestling. I like big dudes wrestling. I like little dudes wrestling. I like all of it. Lucha, like that. And that's another thing. Like, where are you going to find? But unless you go straight to Mexico, where are you going to find luchas that like a GCW?
You're not.
Like that match at the Hammerstein was absolutely insane.
That match was unreal.
And, man, like they do things that I didn't even know people could do.
So different. I don't think you can find a Ninja Mac anywhere.
No, except Loco, because that's where him and Dante both came from. Was Loco? Yeah. So that's one. There's, and that's the good thing about wrestling too is like there's guys all over this country that all it's going to take is for someone to see them, and then you're going to be talking to them. Because like I said, just 6 months ago, nobody knew who Sam Stackhouse was. I didn't even know who Sam Stackhouse was. Really, I was like, I had another line I said, because you know how people call them weekend warriors and play wrestlers and stuff like that. I'd always go around and say, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I'm content with going to wrestling on the weekends. And then I was a truck driver as my real job. And like I would be on the road during the week in the truck, and I'd come home and wrestle on the weekends, and I was perfectly content with that. And then TikTok happened, so
yeah.
Oh, go into that.
Well, I did a match a couple of years ago, and we did a spot where like dude was laying on the table, and I like flipped over the top rope and put him through the table, and like it blew up. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin tweeted about it, Bully Ray tweeted about it, and but we don't talk about Bully Ray right now. But anyways, like yeah. But all these people talked about it and stuff, and then so that started to blow up, and then I just started posting. Because that's another thing, like everybody's talking about that I came out of nowhere, but I haven't changed the style of wrestling I've been doing. I've been doing the moonsault for 10 years. I've been doing all these things for forever, just no one saw it. So all I did was I just started posting that, and then now it's just been, like I said, it's just been insane. I don't like the connection I've had with like fans and stuff on the internet and everything like that. Just I'm eternal, like grateful doesn't even seem good enough to like sum it all up. Like it's like I'm saying it again. It has been an insane 6 months.
That happens. I mean, with GCW too. Like you become what they say a 10-year overnight sensation. I think is how Kevin Gill phrased it, and that happens with a lot of these guys too. And that's what GCW is great about doing is too, is taking these guys that have put in dues and just creating like instant stars that like you said, like it's been a wild 6 months for you. Yeah. And like that pop at Hammerstein too. Like you'd only had a few appearances, but then when they showed, as soon as you showed up, dude, the crowd knew exactly what was going to happen. You were.
There are two types of wrestlers with GCW.
Absolutely crazy.
There's either they've worked for 10, 15 years and never got their due, and GCW's giving it to them, or there's somebody like a Carl Ouellet who was on national TV as a member of the Quebecers, as a pirate with Bret Hart, stuff like that, and then kind of just a little forgotten about before GCW revitalized their career. They're doing that now with Too Cold Scorpio, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and
man, it's insane how, it's insane how good Too Cold Scorpio still is. Man. Too. Like it is absolutely nuts. PCO is not human, so I think that's a consensus everybody can agree on, that PCO is not from this world. But I finally got to meet him too. That was awesome.
I met Too Cold Scorpio in Tampa last year. After the VXS show. The VXS show didn't end until like 4 a.m. because spring break went over by like an hour. So it's
I think there's 2 of them this year. So
this is peak of COVID, especially in Florida, and it's 3 a.m. and I go up to Flash Funk to Cold Scorpio because I'm a fan and I want to meet him.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't sure if he'd want to be around fans, stuff like that. Because again, peak of COVID, 3 a.m. He just worked. He literally put me in a headlock.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. And like that, and I'm a fan too. Like it's been in the same, just as a fan for the past 6 months, and then also as a wrestler, it's both has been insane because I'm not one of those wrestlers that's scared to admit that I'm a fan of wrestling. I absolutely love professional wrestling. Like it is my jam. Okay, like the only reason I am a wrestler is because I was a fan of wrestling, and I was like, I want to do that. So I have no problem admitting that I'm a fan. Like I absolutely love wrestling. So like meeting some of these guys that I've got to meet and like talk to and like and message with and stuff, like it has just been again insane.
So what's next? What you got? What's next for the champ? I mean,
Friday. Let's see. Friday night, I have a show here in Oklahoma that's local, and then I got a 5 a.m. flight to get to Houston for my first Loco title defense against ASF at Wrestle Rave.
Dude, that's going to be fun. I love ASF.
Yeah,
I interviewed him a couple weeks ago too. And
he's great too. Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking forward to that because that's going to be my first real luchador I've ever wrestled. So that's going to be interesting how that's going to work out. But yeah, it's my first. Like I did that promo about saying that they're gonna have to kill me to take this belt away from me, but I didn't think they were gonna start off like this hot. I figured I'd get like a couple just a couple warm up matches. But I got ASF coming, and then the week after that I'll be back in Texas for World Class Pro Wrestling, and I'll be for them in Dallas and later on in Wichita, Kansas on the 27th too. So that'll be cool.
That's cool.
And then so it's just. Whatever comes, I had to buy a book to keep track of all of my shows now. I'm not used to that either, so that's a new thing. So because I learned that lesson the hard way because I double booked myself a few times this past few months, so I had to learn that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, I've had to get out of habit with the planner myself.
We're gonna try to keep the train rolling like it's going. Hopefully,
and I assume we'll probably see you at the collective over the collective weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. I'll be there for sure.
I was about to ask.
It's going to be a busy weekend. I think I've got like 5 shows. Yeah, I think I have like 5 shows just on that Thursday. The first day, like three of them are for like YouTube, and then 2 live shows or something like that. And then I think GCW, they've already announced 5. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be on all of them because they're I'm not going to be on the Lucha show, you know. But yeah, whatever at the collective, I'm sure I'll be able to announce that stuff a whole lot sooner too. Loco will be again April 23rd for the session. The next show, they've already announced a few cool matches. They haven't announced my match yet, but they've announced some pretty cool matches for that. And Loco is always a good time, like I said. And then we'll just see I got Wrestle Rave this weekend. That's going to be crazy. Like I cannot overstate how much I'm looking forward to wrestling ASF. Like that is just going to be. I imagine the match is going to consist of me just standing in the middle and him flipping around me, but I'm cool with it. I'm just happy to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be fantastic.
And guys like that, when they bump for you, you're going to look like $1 million.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dante definitely helped me look better. Like that would definitely wasn't all me on last weekend. I'll tell you that. Then Dante is one of the like. I can't imagine anybody underestimates him. But he is one of the best.
He is.
He's one of the best.
You can tell who the best workers are, but those who can bump really well.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, because I read somewhere that like Jeff Hardy always put that over to his success because he was just good at selling. So that's why they brought him in before he was able to, or old enough and everything, just because he was good at selling. Yeah. So that can get you a long way.
Especially for a guy like Jeff Hardy who came in.
Oh, for sure.
As an enhancement guy, because that's what they looked for in enhancements back in the day was.
Oh yeah.
Your job is to make our stars look like stars. Mm-hmm. And then of course
Chris Hammer was good at that too.
From that, Scotty Tuhati, who's been working GCW too.
Oh man, I'm speaking into reality. Please, somebody book me against Scotty Tuhati. You would make my life.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then someone has a little extra money. And makes like a little mini reunion with 2. Oh my goodness! Sign me up right now.
That'd be fun.
Man, he's on my list. I've been doing this whole speaking things in reality thing a lot lately. And it's been working. So somebody, Scotty Tuhati.
Hey, we'll plug this video out there. So
we'll manifest it into existence. We'll try our best, man. But man, we really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us today.
Hey,
man.
This was fun.
Tell everybody where they can find your stuff, man. Plug all your merch, where you can buy merch, where you can find you on social media, all your things, man. Tell everybody all about it.
Oh yeah. Well, it was. Hold on. Let me bring that back. Where'd it go? There it is. It's the Sam Stackhouse, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok's where I have the biggest thing at, so we're building that. We're working on Instagram. Let's see, Facebook, obviously, all the usual suspects. YouTube, where I'm gonna start. I'll be building my Twitch. It's Sam Stackhouse Games on Twitch. Nice. We're starting that. We're almost to affiliate.
What do you play?
I've been playing Arkham Knight a lot, Batman, but it's Mad. I play Madden like 90% of my time. I spend playing Madden.
All right,
but I mean, we get a new WWE game this year, so obviously I'll be playing that when it comes out.
Who's your team?
Just got my Steelers is my favorite team. Yeah, which really I don't know why, because I've never been to Pittsburgh in my life. If I'm being honest, never been to Pittsburgh in my life. But I was like 9 years old, and that's the first time I watched football. And I just like picked a team, and they weren't even the team I was watching. I just picked a team. Like Tommy Maddox was the quarterback. It was even before. It was like 2 years before Ben Roethlisberger got there. Like Tommy Maddox.
You didn't choose it because of Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh no, he wasn't even there yet. It was still Tommy Maddox and the Buffs was still there. Like,
and I think Deshaun Foster might have been there too.
Was still like a young man, you know. Like it was back then. Yeah, like Troy Polamalu he had just broke out as like a star, you know, like it was way back then. And I just picked them for some reason. And then I like playing Madden, so I spend most of my time streaming Madden. But I've been getting these Batman games lately, and I'm gonna take suggestions like whatever people want to see me play because I've got plenty of games and I gotta wipe the dust off of them, you know.
Nice.
That was prime Jerome Bettis too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, yes it was. That's like my top 3 favorite football players. Well, the top 2 anyways are both Steelers because it goes Troy Polamalu is number 1, and then Jerome Bettis is number 2, and then like 3 gets a little shady or gets a little gray because I'm torn on some people, but yeah, Jerome Bettis and Troy Polamalu fight as my top people. I love those guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was expecting
like Jerome Bettis. It goes back to he's a big boy who was a running back. You don't ever see that, So obviously he hit me right in my heart.
I can relate. I was expecting to pull out a Texas team or something with that. So I like the Steelers answer. I can get behind that. I'm a Falcons fan, so I don't have any beef.
My brother's a Falcons fan.
Hey,
and my brother's, I don't even know if my brother's ever been to. I mean, he's been to Atlanta to watch football games, but I don't know why he picked that team. But my brother's a Falcons fan.
I wouldn't know either because it's not like we've been good. We've only been good 2 years of our entire existence. We've 2 good years. So
see that's why I always put out that I picked the Steelers I picked the Steelers in their downtime. That's why, and I've just stuck with them. So
as a Bucs fan, I grew up on guys like Cadillac Williams, and when our head coach was Raheem Morris, so it's not like I'm not one of those, Tom Brady to Mike Evans fans.
Oh, yeah.
You just made me feel
because as a fan, I really enjoyed it, but also as a fan, I sat through all of those really bad years.
Oh,
and now everybody's going to say, you only like him because of Brady. I'm like, no, I'm from Tampa.
Man, you just made me feel really old, though, dropping. You grew up watching Cadillac Williams as a kid.
Williams, yeah.
Because, dude, I watched him in college. When he was playing for Auburn. I was at UT going to school, so I got to see him play in college ball. So I'm like, I'm like, damn, I'm old now. Shit, dude. Thanks for making me feel really old. Being like, I grew up watching Cadillac Williams, who I watched play in college.
So it's funny because when Savvy Piscatelli, I forget his NXT name.
Tino Sabatelli.
When Tino Sabatelli showed up on the Coconut Loop, I used to run that loop as a fan often. There was one time he was in Tampa trying to get heat, and the crowd just wasn't responding that night. So to get him heat, I mentioned what was the name of the old tight end from Baltimore that was the slowest dude in the league that burned him on the touchdown that one time? I can't
Todd
think
Heap?
of his name right now.
Is it Todd Heap?
Yes, I mentioned Todd Heap, and the crowd just booed.
Yeah, that's a sensitive subject. He was a bad draft pick for you guys as a Buck. That was a terrible pick.
And he blamed Rondé Barber for that. It's like, dude, Rondé Barber's one of the best defensive players of all time.
For sure, man. Yeah, didn't he retire early too, or was it was it the twin? Was it one? Was it Tiki that retired early?
That retired early.
Yeah, I knew one. Yeah.
And Rondé played forever.
Retire until like 2013, 2012, that area.
Yeah. Wow.
And he was drafted in 97, so he played about 15 years.
Insane.
Yeah, I feel like he had a long career in the other one, the other brother, the other twin.
Yeah, I knew it was one of them that didn't. But I mean, the running back, that's a rough position to play for very long.
And he played for the Giants too.
Especially if you're a good running back too, it's hard to play for very long. Because if you're good, they're gonna be feeding you that ball. But I didn't mean to get the chance.
I was going to
say about GCW, not football.
I was going to say, I like that this is strictly a football podcast now. I was about to make the same comment. I was like, I like that.
All right, I'll let y'all.
Well, Sam, we appreciate you coming on with us, man. We'll have you on. We'll have you come on more often, man. So this is
anytime.
You're welcome.
Hey,
and
anytime,
while I got you on. Let's go ahead and plan this now. So if you're going to be there for the collective, then I'll have to get you to film an episode of me taking chops from pro wrestlers with you. So
right on.
Yeah.
I'll be down there. I'll be down there from Wednesday to Monday. I've already got it all planned out. So
same, brother. You can light me up in one episode as well, brother.
Sir.
When I was there for Fight Club weekend in Atlantic City, I filmed like 10 episodes. So I'm sure the collective weekend will be
that's if I can get on one of those Atlantic City weekends this year, then that'll be good for me. Because people are telling, like, I consider myself a GCW, like a member of the official member of the roster right now.
Yeah.
But like when you officially make it, is when you get on those Atlantic City shows. So
those are fun, man. So when you do, I'll try to make it up there for it. I love going to Atlantic City. So, but yeah, man, good. We'll make that happen then next month or 2 months from now.
Guy.
Well, man, Champ, it was good having you on, brother. Hopefully I get to see that belt in person in a couple months. But good seeing you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, always great talking to you, man.
Oh yeah, you guys have a good day.
Thanks, buddy.
Too, man. You too.
See you, Sam. All right, let's fix this brand here. Hold on, let me fix the overlay. I'm on it. Boom. There we go. All right, man. Well, that was
did not expect to talk about in that interview. Include Cadillac Williams.
Yeah, I can guarantee. I can usually that usually happens. So, anyway, let's see. Let's get to some news.
Well, let's start with last night. Jon Moxley as a surprise partner for CM Punk. What was he wearing, Cass?
He was wearing my boy Akira's hoodie. Is what he was doing.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that was awesome. I actually had to text him, and because me and my buddy White Mike were sitting here watching it last night, and we were like, "Was that an Akira hoodie?" And I was like, "Is it the one we know? Like I have to, or is it some other Akira?" So I had to text him and find out, like personally, one way or the other, what was happening there. But yeah, definitely his hoodie. That's all.
So maybe we should start with the British news. Or the UK news.
Yeah, we got
GCW
going. We've got GCW going to England to work a show with TNT Wrestling and TNT Extreme, I think is what it is. Maybe
it is.
And our guys at T and Tights, they handle all that stuff for me. So, and you were on their show last week. So what did
I was? Andy and I had a long discussion about GCW and TNT. I broke down GCW as they're not too familiar with the product, and they broke down TNT as I'm not too familiar with the product. So it's kind of perfect to bring me on for one to discuss and the other to discuss and kind of figure out what that show was going to be like. I broke down some of the roster members. Like I specifically went into Effie, Alex Kogar, Ali Catch. I went into the main ones that you need to go into. Nick Gage. It was a lot of fun to be on their podcast discussing GCW. Both of them are great dudes. Easy to talk to. Probably a lot easier to talk to than I am.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. When is that show?
Let me look. I probably should know that already. I don't remember them announcing a date.
I gotcha. Maybe they haven't.
I think they just announced that they were heading to the UK later this year.
Gotcha.
I don't know what dates they are yet, but I assume they're probably working out the contract status of some bigger names. Like, I wouldn't announce a date until Jon Moxley doesn't have a required date for it.
Let's not make assumptions. We're not going to make assumptions for them on that one. We'll say they just don't have a date yet. We're not going to assume why.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next show on the books looks like we got JCW Gladiator Days coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend seems to be the next event. So I'll run down the card for that one. Gladiator Days, that's at Atlantic City. Looks like it's at the Showboat, which will be there next weekend.
On the 19th, right?
Yeah, so JCW on the 19th. We've got Brian Keith, Swisha House, sponsored athlete against Cole Radrick. We've got JJ
Slade versus Janela.
Oh, I'm getting there. We got JJ. I'm running down the whole thing for you. We got JJ Garrett versus Alec Price. We got a 6-man tag match: Edith Surreal and Incoherence, Delirious and Hallow Wicked versus Billy Starks and Yokai, which was Janai Kai and Yoya. We also have Charles Mason versus Big Vin, Azrael versus Drago Kid, and the main event is Joey Janela versus Slade. And that's that weekend. That's Atlantic City. That's the JCW Gladiator Days. And then that night, later that night, we have Believe Me, GCW's pay-per-view on Fight. And we have some matches announced for that so far, too. So let's see. We've got Matt Tremont and Hoodfoot. Now, that poster looked awesome, dude. Did you see that poster for that shit?
I did. That looks awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be fun, man. That's the later that night. We've also got Mascara Dorada versus Joey Janela. That's gonna fucking slap. Atticus Kogar versus Alley Catch. Holy shit, right? And
Oh,
Briscoes versus the SAT, returning Joel Maximo and Jose Maximo. And we've got John Wayne Murdoch versus G Raver. Excuse me. And then the ultraviolet title will be on the line as Alex Colon, good friend of the show, Alex Colon, will put the belt on the line against Reed Bentley. That's going to be a fucking banger of a show. And I think that's Friday night. Is that a Friday night?
yeah.
No, that's Saturday. No,
That's
that's
a
a Saturday.
Yeah,
it's
that's
Saturday
Saturday.
the 19th. Saturday the 19th.
That's 9 days from now.
Yeah. And then I think they got a couple of shows that weekend. So after that, we've got the following night is the GCW's Don't Tell Me What to Do, and it is also at the Showboat.
And Alec Price will make his GCW debut, which is really cool.
Who's he wrestling?
I don't think they've announced that who he's wrestling.
Yeah,
but they announced on Twitter today or yesterday that he was just signed to make his GCW debut in Atlantic City on February 20th.
Cool. So the 19th he does JCW, and then on the 20th he does GCW. Cool. So far the matches they've got announced for Don't Tell Me What to Do. We've got Too Cold Scorpio versus Gringo Loco, which is going to be awesome. Atticus Kogar versus Alex Zane. Drago Kid versus ASF. And then we've got tag team match Janela and Marco Stunt versus Second Gear Crew, AJ Gray and Matt Justice. And then the GCW tag titles are on the line as the Hate Club. Matt Tremont, Nick Gage put the belts on the line against the Rejects, John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley. And that'll be, I think that's the only events that weekend, those three for the Showboat, right? I don't see anything else. Yeah, so just those three. That's their doubleheader of GCW with a JCW show on Saturday afternoon. So that's next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Now, there's been some other stuff announced. We got tons of announcements for their San Francisco debuts coming up.
A little bit or no?
I didn't hear what you just said.
Do we want to go into those Atlantic City shows a little bit or not?
We just ran them down completely.
Yeah.
Just ran down the whole card. What do you want to go? What's there to go into about it?
More so like preview it or no?
Not yet. We can do that next week.
Okay.
The week of the show. We just ran down the card updates. We got a lot of other stuff to get to, man, which we haven't even touched on yet, hardly. So we've got the San Francisco debut. They've announced that. Was there a date on that show? You didn't send me that on the thing.
I don't remember seeing a date. I remember, and this is a big deal, I remember Chris Dickinson said something about having unfinished business in the Bay, which he showed up at Hammerstein, but he hasn't made his in-ring return yet. So,
because he's hurt.
And we actually have an interview with Chris Dickinson dropping relatively soon, which is cool. Sunday, April 10th is the San Francisco show.
Okay, gotcha.
They sent out a tweet on February the 6th, is what it looks like, that by popular demand, GCW is coming to the Bay. Debuts in San Francisco on Sunday,
I'm looking at it
April
here,
10th. Yeah. And then they tagged Effie, Ali, Warner, Dickinson, Janela, Dark Sheik, Jacob Fatu, and Emil J.
Cool. All right. Well, let's run down some other stuff we got. So we've got the LA show coming up not this weekend, but the next weekend on the 25th. And that's shaping up to be a pretty interesting show as well, too. We've so for Welcome to Heartbreak, which will be at the Ukrainian Cultural Center. So far, we've got Atticus Kogar versus Kevin Blackwood, Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Homicide, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Ninja Mac. Holy shit. Blake Christian versus Nick Wayne, another one. Damn. And then this tag team match, which was set up, of course, at Hammerstein. We've got Janela and X-Pac versus the major players, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. And a GCW Extreme title match is also on the card. AJ Gray will be defending his belt against Leo Rush. And I probably expect a couple more for that one to be announced before we get there. And that's on the 25th. And on the 26th in LA, we have that one's called The Coldest Winter. And that'll be So far, we only have a few matches announced for that one. We've got Tony Deppen versus Thunder Rosa. Oh, that's going to fucking be cool. I did not see that announcement yet, so I'm just seeing this right now in Cage Match. Also, we've got Mike Bailey versus Blake Christian on the card. Dark Sheik versus Atticus Cogar, and Mascara Dorada versus Gringo Loco on that one so far for the coldest winter. We've got LA Fights Volume 3 will be the same day. Great. That's the same day, I think. So that's probably on during the day with the GCW that night. But so far for LA Fights, we've got Peter Avalon versus Dark Sheik, Kevin Blackwood versus Jai Vidal, Ali Catch versus Sandra Moon, Tyler Bateman versus Bad Dude Tito. That's cool. So
one interesting thing about that card is for me, Peter Avalon, like I'm curious as to how many of these expiring AEW contracts are going to integrate themselves into GCW more going forward. So for me as a fan, that's something to look at.
Yeah, that's not that would be good to see what who else we get in there. I know that I expect we'll probably see a lot more Marco. We get him returning in LA too. That's his first match back from injury.
He was the heart of GCW for a long time.
Yeah. But let's run down the results from this past weekend too. So let me pull up the results from GCW's Loco versus GCW versus Loco Fight Club 2 in Houston. We started out the show with a 4-way match. Jordan Oliver defeated Chris Carter, Grim Reaper, and Lowrider. We had Alley Catch defeating Mysterious Q. Ninja Mac defeated Nick Wayne, and that Ninja Mac Nick Wayne match was awesome. And then we had a Loco title match, and which, speaking of, we just talked about with the new Loco wrestling champion Sam Stackhouse, who defeated the then champion Dante Leon. That was a good match. It went about 13 minutes, 30 seconds, I think, something like that. Atticus Cogar went over Gino Medina. Effie wrestled Brian Keith, and that match, that was a hard hitting. That was a stiff match. That was fun, man. Yeah, we talked about that on the post show. If you guys want to go and hear our thoughts on this, by the way, we've got the GCW post show on this one. We only did this one. We didn't do the other one over the weekend. We didn't have anybody else to watch it and do the show with me, but we do have a post show for Fight Club 2, so we're not going to go into too much detail on that one because we've already spoke on it. But we had a 4-way match. Blake Christian defeated ASF, Gringo Loco, and Mascara Dorada, who made his GCW debut. You might remember that name. Might know him as Grand Metalik in WWE for some people that didn't know who he was before he got there. And then the main event, which was pieced together kind of interestingly, it is supposed to be Sadiqa versus Jimmy Lloyd as a replacement for Matt Tremont, but then it ended up being Chris Carter and Atticus Cogar showed up too to make it a 4-way, and Atticus Cogar, of course, won the match. Before the match, he stated that if he lost, he would leave GCW and he would never see him again. So obviously, we're going to see Atticus Cogar for a lot more in GCW because he's basically the cornerstone there with some of these other young bucks. But
yeah, for me, and I went over this on that post show, I would have him be the one to take the championship off Moxley.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. I don't know exactly if they're going to go that direction or not, but that would be a good choice. But we also had another show this weekend from GCW, and since we didn't do the post show on that, we'll kind of talk a little bit more. We're not going to go super long about it, but we'll kind of go into. Did you watch any of that show, by the way?
I watched. I ended up watching the Blake Christian Laredo Kid match, the Mike Bailey Jimmy Lloyd match, and AJ Gray Alley Catch. I meant to go back and watch everything. I just haven't gotten to that yet.
We'll go over
the ones I had to go watch.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it opened with Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne taking on the team of Dante Leon and Ninja Mac, and Ninja Mac and Dante went over. They were the victors in that match. They had just about 10 minutes, 9 and some change. And dude, that match was an awesome opener. Everybody should check that one out. Those guys tore the building down and really set the stage for the rest of the night too. Like, crowd was into it. Crowd was hot right out the gate with that one. That was a solid opening tag team match. Like, nobody slowed down from bell to bell on that one. Worth checking out. You didn't see much on it, so you don't have any spots to talk about. I don't have any specific spots to talk about. It was just everything was fucking awesome in that one. Everybody should watch it.
And with the 4 guys in it, of course, it was.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. We had John Wayne Murdoch defeating ASF next up on the card, and that was fun too because the styles are just so different. Totally different clash of styles there. You got John Wayne Murdoch, death match, more of a brawler, obviously, but ASF and his lucha stuff. But that was a fun match.
Yeah, I'm glad they've started to bring back John Murdoch because he was in GCW a lot a couple of years ago, and then he hadn't appeared for GCW in like 2 years until recently. But I love John Murdoch.
Yeah, he's fun. So yeah, we'll get to see him and ASF there, which, like I said, interesting clash of styles. It's a very unique matchup there that we had in that match. It was fun, man. Everybody should go watch that one too. It's like I said, 8 minutes. It's not long. It's fun to watch. But next up on the card, which was a fun match for me, which is, you said you watched this. We had the GCW Extreme title match. We had AJ Gray defeating Alley Catch, and that was fun, man. What did you think of that one?
I thought it was great. Anything with those two is always going to be great. AJ Gray is, and I'm wearing an Alley Catch shirt right now. I talk about Alley Catch a lot and how much I love Alley Catch's work. AJ Gray is just so I'm gonna praise AJ Gray for a bit. He's so great at everything, and I think he's still only like 27, right?
I think so, something like that.
So there's a good argument that he's the future of the industry. He's just.
You can say that really, about everybody on that roster, honestly.
I mean, that's a good point. He's great at submissions. There was one spot where she had AJ in the armbar spot was really good. Just everything about that match wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I like it when wrestlers give me more than what I was expecting. So, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot more submission based early on than exactly what I was anticipating, which is weird because they're both submission based. They both do a lot of submissions, so I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. It was a very technically sound match, very savvy. I really enjoyed that match.
Yeah.
The chops when right before AJ bit Alley Catch's hand. Oh, that looked like it hurt, and then he bit her hand to get her to stop, and I thought that was a really nice touch. That's a spot I would like to see more people take in the future. There was a lot to like about that match. There was a lot I liked about that match.
Yeah. Well, next up we had, which was I texted about I was texting you during this one. I tweeted about this one. Everybody needed to see this match. We had Jimmy Lloyd taking on Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey. Boy. And this match was awesome. Speedball ended up coming out the victor in about 7 minutes and 16 seconds. I think I saw Jimmy tweet that he kind of hurt himself in the match and he wasn't able to give it his all, but this was a really good match. You guys should watch the match. It was awesome. More Speedball Mike Bailey. That's all everybody needs to
really
know. More Speedball all day. Next up on the card was this match, it went almost 26 minutes. Falls Count Anywhere match. Psycho Clown defeated Gringo Loco in probably match of the night, I would say. What about you? You didn't watch it. You didn't see it, did you?
No.
Oh man, these guys went everywhere. They beat the shit out of each other.
I've heard good things about it though.
Gringo did a spot where he leaped off the goalpost through the tables down below.
Yeah, I saw a spot on Twitter because Twitter, if you miss a show, you're going to see a bunch of
GIFs,
clips. By the nature of logging into Twitter, especially going in a Body Slam account where it's just nothing but wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a clip of Psycho Clown stealing the purse from the fan. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make sure to go check out that and the Speedball match. But
you just watch the whole thing. It was good. After that, we had a scramble match, 5-way scramble. Atticus Cogar defeated Alex Zane, Dark Sheik, Deranged, and Grim Reaper. This match was fun. It was a scramble. You had spots everywhere, different styles. Grim Reaper, always fun to watch. Yeah, I love him. Of course, Atticus. So get to go watch Atticus do his thing. It's always fucking good. Next up, we had Blake Christian defeating Laredo Kid, and you watch this one. This match was, man, Blake Christian is just so good. We say it every time we talk about it. And
yeah, Blake Christian is the.
It's fucking incredible.
There are times where I'm very critical about the Performance Center and stuff like that because I just don't think it's always great for people who haven't wrestled before. Like, there are one or two exceptions that have come out of the Performance Center and been great. Bianca Belair comes to mind. But for the most part, most of their original trainees aren't very seasoned. But the great thing about the Performance Center is when a wrestler like a Blake Christian, who has already had that experience, comes in, they tighten the screws on their work a lot. Their work just becomes a lot more concise. Their fundamentals, like their footwork, just improve and become even better. Like, it's great for what it's meant to be, and that's to get people used to a certain style. But when a guy like Blake Christian comes back after, you can see that their work is significantly better than before, which is incredible because he was great before.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
he's just telling better stories now. And obviously, Laredo Kid's very talented, and he's been doing a lot lately too. So of course that's going to be a fun match regardless. But that just stands out to me with every time I watch Blake Christian.
Yeah, but then the main event of the night, we had, by the way, Blake Christian to be Laredo Kid. The main event of the night was Joey Janela and Dr. Wagner Jr. Dr. Wagner, I think, was that his debut for GCW or was that his return? I don't remember. I think it was his debut. I think it was his debut. But Dr. Wagner ended up beating Joey. They wrestled all over the building. They beat the shit out of each other. It was awesome. Post-match, we have Psycho. Well, apparently during intermission, there was a thing with Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner that happened during intermission that they did a good job apparently making it look look real, but it ended up being a work to help set up their match.
Yeah, that was debut, by the way.
Yeah, so looks like they set up and they had a thing post-match too where they challenged them to a mask versus hair. I think they did, so that'll probably be sometime, I would guess, over the collective. But,
yeah, because you started in Dallas. Obviously, the end point, in theory, would be Dallas. Yeah, I think.
But let's see some other news we've got. We've got the Atlanta update. So GCW debuts in Atlanta at Center Stage Theater on March 12th. And they just announced Gringo Loco will be there. So far, the only match they've put together and announced so far, we got Blake Christian versus Jonathan Gresham. That'll be taking place at Center Stage in Atlanta. Also announced for the card so far, we got Gringo Loco, Effie, Matt Cardona, AJ Gray, AR Fox, Alley Catch, Second Gear Crew, and more will be announced. Let's see.
And we'll have Body Slam representation at the show.
Yes, I will be there by far. I will definitely be there.
Kylie Fuller will also be there.
Dude, why wouldn't I be in Atlanta, bro? Come on.
That's actually a very, very good point.
Dude, I'll be in Atlanta. That's 2.5 hours from my house. I'm from Atlanta. I will be in Atlanta. And also my birthday's on the 9th, so that's my birthday show. I've already made plans with the boys. Them boys, not those boys, but the rest of the guys, to hang out and do some shit that weekend. So, well, apparently, looked it up. Looks like H2O is doing a show with that that Showboat weekend in Atlantic City. We have Saturday the 19th JCW, also GCW that night, and then Sunday during the day it's H2O running the daytime show with GCW doing the show at night.
H2O, the Matt Tremont promotion.
Yeah, that's Tremont's company. So yeah, they're doing the Sunday afternoon show. there. So that's cool.
Yeah, that promotion is a lot of fun. I have a friend in one of the schools, and it's a really fun promotion.
Yeah.
I've started to check out more of H2O because of one of my friends is training there. It's a fun promotion.
That's what's up. Well, shit, man. Looks like that's all the updates I've got. I don't see anything else that we didn't miss for there. Let's see. Let's talk about this. Most important thing. The first ever and potentially last ever Game Changer Wrestling contract was signed this week as Nick Gage.
How did we forget about that?
Nick Gage has now signed an exclusive deal with
He's the heart of
Game
GCW.
Changer Wrestling. Yeah, no, of course. That's awesome. Good for Nicky, man. I'm real happy for the dude. I love that guy. Real happy to see him come back at Hammerstein. I got to talk to him for a little bit again. That was awesome. Good for him, man. Awesome.
The most fun part of any GCW show is moshing to Metallica with Nick Gage. Man. I saw Metallica in concert twice last year. I moshed more with Nick Gage than I did the people at the Metallica concert.
Nice. Yeah, so it was good seeing him come back, man. I'm glad they worked everything out. There was some stuff going on there, and I guess they had that dinner a couple nights before Hammerstein and worked out a deal. And good for him. He's back. He's tag champion. But, yeah, now he's signed to an exclusive deal that looks like he will finish his career as a Game Changer Wrestling exclusive wrestler. So good for him. I guess he didn't want anybody else. They don't want anybody else taking Nick Gage and making him a star.
Understandable.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of press the last year or so with the Dark Side of the Ring, the AEW trials, the MJF, Chris Jericho. I forget what they called it, but the trials that they did, that Nick Gage was one of them.
Mm-hmm. And that was in Charlotte. I was there front row for that. I took an awesome picture for that when I showed it to him. He saved it. It was awesome.
He's been great, for building the GCW brand, giving them an outside of the box face, which I think is perfect for GCW because they're so far outside of the box anyway compared to what everybody else is doing. And he's the most over guy on any GCW show.
Mm-hmm. So
he brings in the most, he is the heart of GCW. There are a lot of people. Alley Catch comes to mind. Effie comes to mind. That are very vital to GCW success and are important faces. But I don't think there's one more important than Nick Gage.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's about the news wrap up for this week. We don't have any GCW shows, so next week we'll just cover up all the news and see what's going on. But I'll go ahead and start. I guess we'll start wrapping this thing up, man. It's been fun first hour and some change. Make sure you go to bodyslam.net, of course, guys, for all your wrestling news. We got results, news, editorials. We got MMA stuff going as well. We're really beefing up our MMA coverage as well there. Make sure you follow bodyslam.net on Twitter at bodyslamnet. You can find us on Facebook at bodyslamnet as well, facebook.com/bodyslamnet. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can give us a search. Just go to YouTube, search for bodyslam.net. But it's actually, I'll put the thing up. It's right here going across the bottom if you want to. It's youtube.com/whatever, bodyslamnet pro wrestling. You can find us pretty easily on there. We've got tons of podcasts coming out pretty much daily at this point, multiple times a day.
We just had something drop about 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet. I was getting to it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll get to it. We got post shows. We got interviews. See, you threw me off. Every day we got podcasts dropping, we got post shows, and we've got interviews, exclusive interviews dropping, which we have run over. We had an interview premiere at 4 o'clock today that Jameus did. Is the debut episode of his New Japan Strong interview series with Carl Fredericks. So make sure you check that out. Like I said, just tons of stuff. So follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up down below. We really appreciate you doing that. Jameis, tell everybody where they can find you on social media before I wrap this up for us.
You can find me on Twitter at the Jameis. I share most of my work there. I also have a Facebook page that I actually need to update a lot of. That's just my name, Jameus Mooney. Make sure to like the page, not friend me, friend my personal account. I don't really know how to distinguish the two. That's why I don't usually advertise it.
Then just don't plug it.
I
plug it if you're not told by nobody to do it. So just skip over that part.
True. So yeah, Twitter. I have a lot of big plans for different podcasts, all of that stuff. So you, of course, subscribe to Body Slam's YouTube where all of that will drop. I've got a lot of really cool projects planned. So be tuned to my Twitter for updates on that. Don't really know what else to say.
That's it. Well, yeah, man, I got this from here. And if so video format isn't your way to check out your podcast, that's not a problem. We also have all of our interviews, all of our podcasts, all of our post shows go up on our bodyslam.net podcasts and interviews on our audio form. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, you name it. There's it's out there. Just search for it. And if for some reason your favorite podcast platform we are not on, let me know, and I will try to fix that for you. So yeah, you can find us in audio form all over the place. Just give us a search there. And guys, you can find me. I'm Cassidy Haynes. I own bodyslam.net. You can find me on Twitter at Casshole. It's right here. It's CASSHOOOLE. Guys, that's it, man. I appreciate everybody coming and checking us out today. This was episode 1 of our Game Changer Weekly GCW updates and rundown and interview shows. So, guys, thanks for coming and checking us out.